Hello and welcome to section 10.3. 10.3 is what they want you to do is they want you to graph the equations and they want you to find the roots by figuring out where it crosses the x-axis. I think that's a very particularly annoying way to solve quadratic equations. So what we're going to be doing is using a graphing calculator to do this. And so if I try to factor this, we notice that this quadratic equation doesn't factor. There's no two numbers that are going to multiply to 1 but add to 4. So what that tells me is my roots are irrational. It means there's likely going to be answers, but they're not going to be nice whole numbers that we're used to. So if I put something in the calculator like x squared plus 5x plus 6, and I graph it. So the answers are going to be -3 and -2 because this would factor into x plus 3, x plus 2. And then the roots are -3 and -2. So you can see here, if I zoom in, it crosses at -3 and -2. And I'll quick show you the process of doing this, but this doesn't really we have better ways of doing this than graphing it using pencil and paper. So I would never want students to solve a quadratic using graphing unless the roots are irrational. So, or really crazy long decimals. And so what I'm going to do here is show you guys how to do this. You're going to do second calculate, and then we're going to go down to the zeros option, number 2 here. And it's going to ask for a left bound and a right bound. So this point right here is the root right there, and it's going to be -3, but pretend we don't know that. This side here is your left bound here. We're just going to select any point over here. It doesn't matter. Just press enter. And then it's going to say right bound. So then we want to go over to the right. We want to be somewhere right below this value. You're going to cross over the x-axis, select a point, and then it's going to say guess. Just press enter one more time, and it gives you the 0 of -3. Now to find this one over here, we're going to do the same thing. So second calculate, and then go to 0. And then it's just for a left bound. Now this time, the left side of this point right here is on the bottom of it. So you're going to be below the x-axis here. And then go to the right side. So move over across the x-axis. Now we're on the right side of that point. And then it's going to say guess again. And it should be -2, which it is. So that's the idea. That's what we're working with. So let's go ahead and do one. X squared plus 4x plus 1. Graph that. Okay, now both of my roots are there, and sometimes you got to play around with the zoom to see them. Second, calculate, and then go to 0, and then I don't know where my cursor is, so I'm just going to keep clicking up. There it is. So sometimes you got to click around just to get your cursor to come up. This is my left bound, and then move to the right. This will be my right bound. Press enter when it says guess. And you're going to see here, this sometimes is a weird thing with E in it. That's the same as 0. And you're going to see here that this is your root. It's not a nice number. And then you're going to do the same thing over here for this point. And that's the whole process of using your calculator to find zeros or roots when they're not nice whole numbers or not nice decimal numbers. And that's all there is to this process. The book wants us to do this, and we're not going to do that. We're going to study a couple of questions tomorrow in class, and then we'll get to our homework. So hopefully you guys wrote down some steps on that, so we're ready to go tomorrow with the calculators. And thank you guys for tuning in.